Welcome back, everyone. This is Fluent English with Radio, your space for learning English through real-world topics that make a difference. You're talented, you work hard, you have real skills. So why can't you reach the top people in your field yet? The problem is not your skills, it's how you network. Think about successful people for a minute. They get hundreds of requests every week. When you ask for favors, you are just another person on a long list. They don't need more friends. They need value and allies. They need people who can benefit them. Machiavelli, that famous political thinker, knew this 500 years ago. Many people think his teachings are about lying and manipulation. That is a misunderstanding. It isn't manipulation. It's strategy. It's all about understanding how the game of power works in order to play it well and get yourself ahead. In his book, The Prince, he outlined laws of power and influence that still work today. I have taken his ideas and made 12 laws for mastering networking. And let me be clear. These are neither tricks or scripts, just real laws that change how you approach people. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to build connections that matter. Your networking game is about to change. Let's begin. Phase 1. The mindset. This phase happens before you meet anyone. It starts in your car, in the elevator, or at your desk before you make that call. It happens when you prepare for a conference, a company meeting, or even a coffee chat. Let me give you some examples. You are an accountant. Your company is hosting a dinner with potential investors. You will be there. This is when you practice phase 1. Or you work in sales. There is an industry event next month. Senior executives from big companies will attend. Phase 1 begins today, not on the event day. Notice the pattern? Phase 1 is not about the meeting itself. It is about winning the battle in your mind first. Before you step into any room, you must win inside your head. Your mindset determines everything that follows. Here's why this matters. If you walk in feeling small, people will treat you as small. If you walk in feeling desperate, people will avoid you. Your energy speaks louder than your words. Influential people have a radar for weakness. They can sense when someone needs them too much. And nothing kills a connection faster than neediness. On the other hand, calm confidence is magnetic. It pulls people toward you. Think about it this way. Would you trust a doctor who seems nervous about treating you? Would you hire a lawyer who doubts their own skills? Of course not. The same applies to networking. People connect with those who seem stable, confident, and self-assured. Not arrogant, not desperate, just quietly confident. This is why phase 1 comes first. Your internal state creates your external results. Now, let me show you the 3 laws of this phase. Law 1. Radical autonomy. This is the most important law. Listen carefully. If your soul depends on their approval, they will smell your desperation, and desperation repels influential people faster than anything else. You might be wondering, what does radical autonomy mean? It means you approach every connection with this mindset. I want to connect with you, but I do not need you to survive. You are interested, not desperate. You are open, not clingy. This creates calm confidence. And calm confidence is the magnet that attracts successful people. Let me be clear, this is not about being cold or unfriendly. It is about being complete within yourself first. Think about dating for a second. Who is more attractive? The person who says, "Please love me, I am nothing without you." Or the person who says, "I enjoy your company and I think we could have something great together." The second one, right? Because they have autonomy. They are whole on their own. The same principle works in professional networking. Here's a practical example. You are a marketing specialist. You want mentorship from an industry leader. Before you send that message, check your energy. Are you thinking, "Please pick me, I am desperate for guidance"? That is neediness. Change it to, "I admire your work and I believe we could create value together. If not, I will find another way to grow." Feel the difference? Same goal, completely different energy. Here's another example. You work in customer service. You want to transition into management. The regional manager is visiting your office next week. Wrong mindset. I need to impress him so badly. This is my only chance. Right mindset. This is a good opportunity to show my value. If it works, great. If not, I will create other opportunities. The second mindset makes you relaxed. And when you are relaxed, you perform better. You speak more clearly. You think more sharply. You become more impressive naturally. The secret is simple. When you stop needing the connection desperately, you actually become more likely to get it. Law 2. Never approach as a beggar. Do not start any conversation with, "I need help," or "Can you give me advice?" Influential people are allergic to burdens. Their time is limited. Their energy is precious. Everyone wants something from them. Every single day, people ask for favors, time, money, connections, and recommendations. It is exhausting for them. So when you show up asking for more, you become just another person in a very long line. Instead, approach it as someone who brings solutions. You are not below them. You are a potential partner who offers value. Let me show you how this works in real life. Bad approach. "Hi, I am struggling with my career. Can you mentor me?" This puts all the burden on them. Better approach. "Hi, I noticed your company is expanding into digital marketing. I have been studying this field for 3 years and have some ideas that might help. Would you be open to a short conversation?" Notice the shift. You are not asking them to save you. You are offering something useful. Here's another example. You are a graphic designer. You want to work with a creative director at a big agency. Bad approach. "I need more clients. Can you refer me to someone?" Better approach. "I saw your recent campaign. The color theory was brilliant. I have been experimenting with similar concepts in my work. I would enjoy discussing design approaches with you sometime." Spot the pattern. You are showing interest in their work, demonstrating your own knowledge, and suggesting an exchange of ideas, not begging for help. This approach changes everything. You are no longer a beggar. You are a peer with something to offer. Law 3. Humble ambition, fierce execution. Do not talk big about how you will change the world or reach the top right away. This makes people defensive. It sounds naive and arrogant at the same time. Decision makers have seen thousands of dreamers. Most of them failed. Big talk is cheap. So what should you do instead? Be humble in your words. Be quiet about your ambitions. But be absolutely fierce in your actions. Show results, not promises. Think of it this way. Actions speak louder than words. Or even better, let your actions do all the talking while your mouth stays quiet. Here is how this looks in practice. You are a junior analyst. You want to impress the senior partners. Do not say, "I am going to become a partner in 5 years." Instead, say nothing. Just consistently deliver excellent analysis. Beat every deadline. Find insights others miss. Solve problems before they become big. Let your work speak. After 6 months of fierce execution, the partners will notice you. They will think, "This person is special," without you ever saying a word. Another example, you are a restaurant supervisor. You want to become a general manager. Do not announce, "I deserve a promotion. I am ready to run this place." Instead, quietly fix the problems others ignore. Improve staff morale. Increase efficiency. Reduce waste. Train new employees better than anyone else. When the time comes, your manager will recommend you for promotion because your actions already proved your capability. This is the power of humble ambition and fierce execution. You build credibility through action, not announcement. Remember these 3 laws. Practice them before every important connection. Win in your mind first, then winning in the room becomes natural. Before moving forward, ask yourself, am I approaching from desperation or confidence? Think about your next networking opportunity. How will you prepare your mindset beforehand? Tell us in the comments section. Phase 2. The approach. This phase happens when you are about to make contact. It is the planning stage before you actually talk to the influential person. Phase 2 is not spontaneous. It requires preparation. Most people rush in. They see an opportunity and immediately jump. They talk too much about themselves. They pitch their ideas too fast. They ask for things too early. This is a critical mistake. You only get one first impression. If you waste it, you rarely get a second chance. The key to this phase is being smart, not fast. Think about hunters. Do they run straight at their target? No. They study the animal first. They watch its patterns. They understand its behavior. They position themselves correctly. Only then do they make their move. You need the same approach with successful people. Watch them, learn about them, understand what they need, then approach with precision. The question is, how do you get their attention without getting pushed away? That is exactly what these 3 laws will teach you. Law 4. Observe before you move. Do not rush in. The biggest error is talking too much about yourself before you understand the other person. This shows you care more about yourself than about them. Decision makers notice this immediately and they lose interest fast. Instead, spend time researching. You need to know 3 things before you approach anyone. First, what do they care about? What topics interest them? What projects excite them? What values do they talk about often? Second, what frustrates them? What problems bother them? What inefficiencies make them angry? Do you share any common challenges? Third, what are they missing? Do they need more time? Do they need loyal people? Do they need honest feedback? Find the gap. That gap is your opportunity. Let me give you an example. You are a project manager. You want to connect with the director of operations. Do not just send a random email saying, "I want to meet you." Instead, spend 2 weeks observing. Read their recent emails to the team. Notice what they emphasize. Listen to how they talk in meetings. Maybe you notice they always mention efficiency and reducing waste. Great. Now you know what matters to them. Maybe you see they get frustrated when reports come in late. Perfect. You found a pain point. Maybe you realize they never get honest feedback because everyone is scared of them. Excellent. You found the gap. Now you can approach with precision. Your message might say, "I noticed you mentioned efficiency 3 times in last week's meeting. I have been tracking our project timelines and found 3 areas where we lose time. Would you like to see my analysis?" Notice how different this is. You are not talking about yourself. You are talking about their interest. You are offering a solution to their problem. Here's another example. You work in customer service. You want the regional manager to notice you. Do not walk up and say, "I work really hard and deserve recognition." Instead, observe what challenges the regional manager faces. Maybe customer complaints have increased. Maybe response times are slow. Maybe staff turnover is high. Pick one problem. Quietly work on solving it. Gather data. Create a small solution. Then approach with evidence. I noticed customer complaints increased by 15% last quarter. I tested a new response system with my team and reduced our complaints by 20%. Would you like to see the process? You are not begging for attention. You are bringing a solution based on careful observation. This is the power of observing before you move. You replace guesswork with precision. But observation alone is not enough. You also need to understand the power structure around the person you want to reach. That brings us to the next law. Law 5. Build alliances sideways. Many people only focus on the top person and ignore everyone around them. This is a serious mistake. Do not just stare at the king. Look at the people around the throne, the assistants, the advisors, the gatekeepers. These people are incredibly influential. They control access. They shape decisions. They whisper in the boss's ear. The CEO's assistant knows more about the CEO's schedule, mood, and priorities than anyone else. The department head's right hand knows which projects matter and which ones do not. If you treat these people with respect and build genuine relationships with them, they become your keys to the door. Let me show you how this works. You are an IT specialist. You want to propose a new system to the boss. The boss has a senior engineer whom they trust completely. That engineer tests all new ideas first. Your smart move. Build a relationship with that engineer. Show them your idea. Ask for their feedback. If they like it, they will recommend it to the boss. You did not force your way in. You used the natural path of influence. Another example. You are a teacher and you want to start a new program, but you need the principal's approval. The principal trusts the vice principal for academic decisions. The vice principal values the opinion of the department head. Your strategy: start with the department head, Present your idea there first. Get their support. Let them present it to the vice principal. Let the vice principal present it to the principal. Now your idea arrives with multiple endorsements. Your chances of success just multiplied. This is building alliances sideways. You do not storm the castle. You befriend the people who have the keys. Once you understand the power structure and build the right alliances, there's one more critical element: speaking their language. That's what the next law covers. Law 6. Mirror their world. People connect with those who are similar to them. This is basic human psychology. We trust people who understand our world. But be careful. Mirroring does not mean copying like a parrot. It means harmonizing, matching their frequency. Think of it like music. You do not play the exact same notes. You play notes that blend well together. How do you do this in practice? First, listen to how they communicate. Are they formal or casual? Are they direct or diplomatic? Do they use data or stories? Then adjust your style to match without losing your authenticity. If they are practical and data-driven, speak in numbers and facts. Do not start with abstract concepts or vague ideas. If they are visionary and big picture, speak in possibilities and future impact. Do not drown them in technical details. Let me give you an example. A designer is pitching to an engineering manager. Engineers value precision and logic. If the designer says, "This design feels right, it has good energy and flow," they will fail. There's no precision or logic in that. But if they change their wording to, "This design reduces user clicks by 30% and improves task completion rates based on our testing data," the engineering manager will take their words seriously. Why? Because the designer gave the engineer what they value: measurable results. One final point about mirroring. It also applies to appearance and setting. Do not wear a suit to a startup where everyone wears t-shirts. Do not wear shorts to a corporate law firm. Match the environment, not to be fake, but to show respect and awareness. When you mirror their world, you make them comfortable, and comfortable people are open people. Before we move on to the third phase, let's take a break. Relax your mind and body for a bit. Maybe have some water and close your eyes for a moment. And now, let's get ready for the art of interaction. Phase 3. The interaction. This phase happens during the actual conversation, when you are in the room with them, when you are on the call, when you finally have their attention. Let me show you when this happens. You are at a networking event. A senior executive is standing next to you at the coffee table. Phase 3 begins the moment you open your mouth. Or you're in a meeting with your boss. They just asked you a question. Phase 3 is happening right now. Or a potential mentor agreed to a phone call with you. The call starts. Phase 3 is live. Notice when this happens. Phase 3 is the actual interaction. This is where everything you prepared gets tested. You completed Phase 1. Your mindset is strong. You finished Phase 2. You observed, built alliances, and prepared your approach. Now comes the hardest part. The actual conversation. This is where most people fail. They get nervous. They talk too much. They try too hard to impress. They forget to listen. Or worse, they accidentally offend the person they want to connect with. Here's what you need to understand. How you behave in this interaction determines everything. You can have perfect preparation, but if you act incorrectly during the conversation, you lose the opportunity. One wrong move can destroy months of careful planning. Think about job interviews. You can have a perfect resume, but if you behave badly in the interview, you do not get the job. The same applies here. Your behavior during the interaction is what people remember most. So the question is, how do you behave so they truly respect you? That is what these 3 laws will teach you. Law 7. Never outshine the master. This next law requires real emotional intelligence. Listen carefully. No matter how skilled you are, never make the influential person feel small in front of others. Why is this so important? Because everyone has an ego, even the most successful people, especially the most successful people. If you make them look bad, even by accident, they will remember it, and they will avoid you forever. Let me be very clear. You can be smart, you can be talented, but you must never make them feel less important than you. Here is how this works in practice. You are in a meeting. Your boss's boss is there. They ask a question about the project. You know the answer. Your boss does not. If you immediately answer in detail, showing off all your knowledge, you make a critical mistake. Everyone looks impressed, except your boss. They feel embarrassed. Instead, briefly mention the key point, then say, "But I think boss's name can explain the strategy behind it better than I can." What did you do? You showed your knowledge, but you also showed respect. You did not steal the spotlight. You gave your boss a chance to shine. Here's another example. You are a junior analyst. The senior partner made a small mistake in their calculation during a presentation. You noticed it. The wrong approach is mentioning the mistake in the meeting. Game over for your relationship. The better approach is to wait until after the meeting, then privately mention it to them. I noticed something in slide 7. Would you like me to double-check those numbers for you? You protected their reputation in public. You helped them in private. They will remember this. This is the art of never outshining the master. You can be brilliant, but you must be wise about how you display it. This does not mean hiding your abilities. It means showing them strategically, at the right time, in the right way. Law 8. Strategic appreciation. Here's something most people get completely wrong. They think any compliment is good. It is not. Do not give empty compliments. Do not say generic things like, "You are amazing," or "You are so talented." Influential people hear this every day. It means nothing to them. Instead, show appreciation with precision. Compliment something specific. Prove that you actually understand their work. Why does this matter? Because generic praise is cheap. Anyone can say it. It requires no thought, no observation, no real understanding. But precise appreciation is valuable. It shows you paid attention. It shows you have enough knowledge to recognize quality. Let me show you the difference. The wrong approach is saying, "Your presentation was great." This is too generic. The better approach is to be specific. Your presentation was excellent. The way you handled that difficult question about budget cuts was smart. You stayed calm and gave a clear answer without making promises you could not keep. Notice the difference? The second version is specific. It shows you were actually listening. It shows you understood what made it good. Here's another example. You meet a successful entrepreneur at an event. The wrong approach is saying something generic like, "I love your company." The better approach is to be specific about their decisions. I read about how you pivoted from B2C to B2B during the 2020 recession. That took real courage. Most companies did not survive that kind of shift. You did your research. You acknowledged a specific decision. You showed respect for their judgment under pressure. This is strategic appreciation. It is not about saying nice things. It is about showing that you truly see their value. When you do this, people notice. They think, "This person actually gets it. They understand what I do." And that creates respect. Law 9. Maintain mystery. Do not tell your whole life story in the first conversation. Do not reveal all your plans, all your struggles, all your dreams. Why not? Because a book that is completely open is not interesting. People lose curiosity. There is nothing left to discover. Mystery creates attraction. When people do not know everything about you, they want to know more. Think about movies. Why do you keep watching? Because you want to know what happens next. The director does not reveal everything in the first 5 minutes. The same principle works in networking. Here is how to maintain mystery in practice. Someone asks, "Tell me about yourself." Most people explain their whole career, their goals, their personal life, their doubts, everything. That's a wrong move. What you should do is to give a brief, interesting answer, then stop. Leave them wanting more. For example, I work in data analysis, but I recently got interested in how small companies use data differently than large ones. The patterns are fascinating. Short, specific, interesting, but not complete. They will probably ask a follow-up question. Good. Now you have a conversation, not a monologue. Here's another example. You are talking to a potential mentor. Don't say, "I am struggling with my career, and I do not know what to do, and I need help with everything, and I feel lost." Instead, say something like, "I am at an interesting point in my career. I am trying to decide between two very different paths, and both have real potential." You showed you are thoughtful. You suggested there is more to the story, but you did not dump everything at once. This is the power of mystery. Say less than necessary. Let them be curious. Let them ask questions. When they ask questions, it means they are interested, and interest is the beginning of connection. But be careful. Mystery is not the same as deception. It does not mean lying or hiding important things. It just means being selective about what you reveal and when. Share important information, but do it gradually. Keep some things back for the next conversation. This gives them a reason to want a next conversation, and creating that desire for the next meeting. That is the whole point. Master these 3 laws of Phase 3, and people will respect you. More importantly, they will remember you. But here's where most people completely fail. They think the game ends after a good first conversation. It does not. The real work starts after you have made the connection. That is Phase 4. What's your biggest challenge during networking interactions? Is it outshining others, giving compliments, or maintaining mystery? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear them. Phase 4. The retention. Phase 4 is where most people lose everything they built. They work hard on phases 1, 2, and 3. They prepare their mindset. They research carefully. They nail the first conversation. Then they disappear. Or worse, they become lazy. They think the hard work is done. They believe the relationship will maintain itself. Here is the truth. Getting the connection is only 30% of the work. Keeping it strong is the other 70%. This phase happens after the first successful connection. After they said yes to your idea. After they gave you advice. After they opened a door for you. This is the ongoing phase. It continues for weeks, months, or even years. Let me give you examples. Your proposal was approved by your boss. Now you need to deliver results and maintain that relationship. Phase 4 begins. Or a senior person agreed to mentor you. You had your first meeting. It went well. Phase 4 is now active. Or an important contact made an introduction for you. The introduction worked. Phase 4 is your responsibility now. See the pattern? Phase 4 is not a single moment. It is the long game. Think about friendships. Meeting someone new is easy. Keeping that friendship alive for years, that requires real effort. Professional relationships work the same way. Anyone can make a good first impression, but few people know how to maintain respect over time. This is what separates professionals from amateurs. The question is, how do you keep the relationship strong? How do you make sure they continue to value you? Even more important, how do you avoid being taken for granted or ignored? That is what these final 3 laws will teach you. Law 10. Gratitude through action. Everyone says, "Thank you." The words are easy, but words alone are cheap. Influential people hear "thank you" 100 times every week. It does not mean much anymore. What matters is showing gratitude through action. Turn your appreciation into real value that you give back. Action proves your words are real. It shows you understand that relationships are about exchange, not just taking. When someone helps you, they invest their time, reputation, or resources in you. The best way to thank them is to make that investment worth it. Let me show you how this works. A senior manager introduced you to a client. You got the deal. Now what? Many people send a thank you email and nothing else. That is it. Done. This misses the opportunity. Here is what works. Send a brief thank you email first. Then, 2 weeks later, send them something useful. Maybe an article about their industry. Maybe a contact who could help them with a current project. Maybe insights from your new client relationship that could benefit them. You turned gratitude into value. Here's another example. A colleague helped you solve a technical problem that was blocking your work. You could just say, "Thanks, I appreciate it," and then nothing else. But that is not enough. Do this instead. Next time you see them struggling with something you understand, help them immediately without being asked. Or share a useful resource with them. Or defend their idea in a meeting when others doubt it. You showed your gratitude through action. You took the help you received and turned it into value you give back. This creates a cycle. They help you, you help them. The relationship grows stronger. People remember those who give back. They forget those who only take. Law 11. Have a backbone. Do not be a yes man. Do not agree with everything just to make them happy. Why not? Because influential people do not respect those who have no opinions of their own. Think about it. If you always agree with them, what value do you add? They already know their own thoughts. They do not need an echo. What they need is someone who can think independently, someone who can see problems they might miss, someone brave enough to speak the truth. But be careful, having a backbone does not mean being rude or aggressive. It means politely sharing a different view when it helps the work. It means having the courage to disagree respectfully. For example, let's say your boss suggests a strategy. You see a potential problem with it. If you stay quiet because you do not want to seem difficult, you make a mistake. The strategy fails later. Your boss wonders why nobody warned them. Instead, mention your concern respectfully. I think this plan has strong potential. I am wondering about one thing, though. What if clients react negatively to the pricing change? Have we tested that scenario? You disagreed, but you did it respectfully. You asked a question instead of making a demand. You offered thinking, not just criticism. Or maybe a senior executive asks for your opinion on a decision, saying, "Whatever you think is best, I agree completely," adds no value. Show your thinking instead. I see why you are leaning that way. From my angle, I notice the timeline might be tight given our current resources. It might be worth reviewing the schedule before we commit. You showed you have your own perspective. You proved you actually think about the work. You did not just repeat their opinion back to them. When you disagree, do it with respect. Explain your thinking. Show it comes from wanting the best outcome, not from ego. The goal is to be a trusted advisor, not a yes man. Advisors have value. Yes men do not. People respect those who have a backbone. They use those people for important decisions. They ignore those who just say yes to everything. Law 12. Control your availability. This final law might surprise you. It goes against what most people think. Here is the principle. Diamonds are valuable because they are rare. Water is cheap because it is everywhere. The same principle applies to you and your time. If you are always available whenever they call, you become common. Your time seems worthless. They start to take you for granted. But if you are busy with your own important work, your time becomes valuable. When you do make time for them, it means something. Let me be clear. This does not mean ignoring people or being rude. It means having your own goals and priorities. It means not dropping everything instantly every single time. Here is how this works in practice. A contact calls you asking for a favor. They want your help today. Do not cancel everything on your schedule and help them right away. This makes your time seem worthless. Here is what to say. I would be happy to help. I am in the middle of something important until Thursday. Can we schedule time on Friday? Or, if it is urgent, I can find 30 minutes tomorrow afternoon. You showed you want to help, but you also showed that your time has value. You have other important work. You are not just waiting around for their call. Another example. Someone sends you a message asking for advice. Replying within 2 minutes every single time, no matter what you are doing, makes you look desperate for their attention. Reply when you finish your current task instead. Maybe that is 2 hours later. Maybe the next morning. Your reply is thoughtful and helpful, but not instant. This shows you were doing something important. Your attention is valuable, not freely available at any moment. Here's what happens when you control your availability. People start to value your time more. They prepare better for meetings with you. They take your advice more seriously. They see you as someone important, not someone desperate for their attention. But remember, balance is key. Be genuinely busy with meaningful work, not fake busy to play games. People can tell the difference. And when you do make time for important relationships, be fully present. Give them your complete attention. That is what makes your time valuable. The goal is not to manipulate. The goal is to have a real life with real priorities. When you do that naturally, people respect you more. This is the long game. Show gratitude through real action, not just words. Have your own opinions and share them respectfully. Make your time valuable by being busy with meaningful work. Master these 3 laws and your relationships will not just survive. They will grow stronger every month, every year. So let me say this clearly. Real networking is not about collecting business cards. It is not about adding contacts on social media. It is not about going to every event and shaking every hand. Real networking is about value exchange. You give something valuable, they give something valuable. Both sides benefit. That is how strong connections are built. Most people get this wrong. They try to please powerful people. They say yes to everything. They change who they are just to fit in. This never works long term. Here is what actually works. Build yourself into a person of value. Develop real skills. Build your character. Understand how power works. Know the game you're playing. When you do this, something interesting happens. You stop chasing connections. Connections start coming to you. These 12 laws worked 500 years ago when Machiavelli wrote them. They work today. They will work tomorrow. The question is, will you use them? Will you keep approaching networking the old way, hoping for different results? Or will you change your approach starting today? Remember, you are not learning this to manipulate people. You are learning this to understand reality and to position yourself properly in it. Stop being the person who begs for opportunities. Start being the person who creates them. If this resonated with you, like and share it with your community. Subscribe to join our growing family and dive into our other episodes while you're here. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time on Fluent English with Radio.